Kevin, my dude. What is up, my brother? It is always so great to get caught up with you. Bring me up to date. How you doing? How's the fam?
Everybody is doing so good. I got a boy playing at Howard University, got another one in high school. I'm trying to catch up to you. And, my wife is doing fantastic out there trying to save the world.
Dude, that's great. The fam's doing great.
Yeah.
What's it like, man? Like, our boys are out. Both, well, no, that's not, okay, they're out. Jake's now 24, still living in Wisconsin, working for a production company. Logan's going to Boulder, but they are out. We are empty nesting. Are you prepared for this?
Not really, because I still love going to the games, man. Like, my youngest, he plays basketball and soccer. So every weekend almost, like tonight, when we're done, I'm driving to practice in the minivan. That's my thing. I love it. I'll sit out there and watch practice in the cold, but I don't know that I'm prepared for this. Last weekend, my wife and I hung out and we did a bunch of stuff together, went to a bunch of events and everything. And we're like, this is really weird, us being out.
It is weird, dude. It's going to get much more weird. And the thing is, if you already love it, because I can remember we loved it. I love watching the kids play ball. I loved it. But there were nights when it was really cold. And I'm like, man, I don't know if I love this. And then once it's over, man, you'd give anything to get it back. I've always said this, like, for all the great things you and I have done, all the great things I've covered in sports, man, my favorite things were watching my kids play baseball in high school for a really nondescript program. And it wasn't like they were actually killing it. But, man, those were the best times ever. Best times ever.
It is the greatest thing, and that is what really fatherhood is about. And, watching you be a father and really care about your boys. You know what? And I'm going to give this away to the world, man. Jim's wife sends out the wildest Christmas card every year. It's like a damn book. And it has real pictures on it. It's not like it's a photocopy or some crap like that. It is the real deal. It's unbelievable. So I love that.
I appreciate you saying that. We've dialed that back. We have dialed that back.
Did you have to?
Yeah, I know. We had to rein that in. Like, dude, that was a lot of money. But you know the amazing thing about Janet, and people who know, and I talk about Janet on the show a lot of times, and people know about Janet. Dude, you know Janet. She's never asked for anything ever of any kind of monetary value except that card. Now, that card was expensive as hell, but she never, ever asked for things, but only that card because family first. The kids first.
Always. But damn it, that card was beautiful. It was magical. It was like a book, y'all.
It was wild. I appreciate you saying it. So, dude, speaking of which, so Janet, this week, she's been going through some storage lockers, trying to clean some stuff out, consolidate, travel a little more lightly. Look what she found, bro. Look what she found. Let me show this to you. Wait for it. It's coming. It's coming. Bam!
Oh! Yo.
How good is that?
Yo. So hold on. We have to talk about this because
break it down, dude.
This was bananas. This is when we did a thing called the FX Sports Show. And it really was the year that the NFL started on Fox. We were in a studio right next to them doing a highlight show once the football games went off. But it was a highlight show that was whack. Let's just be honest. We would get into some highlights, but we had some other shenanigans that just made it crazy. But it is really where we bonded. Like, this is where we became boys. And so it was wild. It was the first time I'd ever seen my face on a billboard, so I was tripping. But that was the billboard for the FX Sports Show, and that was our thing. And it was really, and so people need to know, when Fox Sports started, there was the pregame show, and there was us on the FX Sports Show.
That's it. There was nothing. They got the NFL.
Else.
It was a network. It was a startup network. It was like Al Bundy, the NFL guys, and then you and me. And I was goatless, and that's how we met. And dude, that's why you were always so beautiful. Like, we'd never met before. They just put us together on this show. And dude, you were always so warm and so welcoming, and we were boys ever since then. But Janet came across that. I had to show that to you. I thought that was amazing. That was awesome. And luckily, it only ran one season. Luckily, right?
It is amazing. And the premise behind the show, the geek, we had this weirdo who would put on like this scarf and they put him in front of a green screen and act like he was a machine spitting out numbers. It was madness. And look, it wasn't good. Sometimes you do things that aren't good. It wasn't great, but it's okay. We had a great time and a lot of fun doing highlights. But more importantly, on the day we met, because I knew who Jim was. He's been on, national TV for a few years. We are sitting down, we're bonding, and we're like, yo, we're hungry. And I'm like, bruh, they have White Castle in the machine out there. Now, if you want to know the dumbest shit we've ever done, it's eat White Castle out of a vending
No, no, no,
machine.
no, no, dude. The dumbest shit we ever did was me not even knowing what White Castle was. I was a California guy. I had no idea.
Right.
And you were like incredulous. You're like, dude, you don't know what White Castle is? I'm like, no. But we've been here 9 hours, dude. I'm hungry, man. And you're like, oh, dude, let's go to the vending machine. I'm like, we're getting meat out of the vending machine? I'm like, holy
Yes.
shit, these things are great. They're amazing.
Now, here's the thing. We don't know how long that had been in that vending machine, and it was like in a back corner, hidden away. Those burgers could have been there since the inception of time. Since White Castle first came out, they could have been there, and we ate them like they were the best thing we've ever had.
Because they were. The reason we thought they were the best thing we'd ever had is because they were the
They
best
really
thing we ever
were.
had. That was great. So how were you and I not going to be boys after that experience? Crappy
Please.
show, The Geek, White Castle out of a vending machine. Of course, we were destined to be boys forever. So, Kevin, let me ask you, we could do that forever, but All-Star Weekend, NBA All-Star Weekend.
Yeah.
I've got to think you were all over that. What were the entertainment highlights? And have you got a story or five for me? What happened?
Well, so here's the thing about the NBA All-Star Game, which has become a little kooky and crazy because of the influx of all the corporate dollars and all that stuff. And really all the stuff that happens, if you want to see people, it's outside of the All-Star universe. Everybody is having a party somewhere out there, and that's where you go to find people and do things. So I started the weekend off because I was like, I'm going to be low-key. I'm just coming from the Super Bowl. I'm dialing it back. And I went to the NBA Africa party, and it was like wall to wall, shoulder to shoulder, but they were selling franchises. And I was like, if you all are selling franchises, get a bigger damn room. But it was a great party. Lots of people in there, lots of stars. Boris Kojo, who's involved with the franchise down in South Africa, and Holly Robinson, Pete, and her husband Rodney Pete.
How's my gal, man? She's the best. I haven't
mean,
I haven't
loved her since
talked to
10th grade.
Holly. Bring me up to date, man. How's our gal? Love her.
She's doing fantastic. And I think that the most important thing is that, we look at Holly, and I look at her as a star. And as I said, when I was in 10th grade, she was my fantasy. I was like, if I ever meet Holly Robinson, I'm marrying her ass. And it's wild because what you learn about her is the substance of this woman and how she has was thrown certain challenges in life, like her son who was autistic. And instead of saying, woe is me, she went out there and raised millions of dollars for autism. But more importantly, her son has been the clubhouse man for the Dodgers. This is his third year in a row. And so when you see what he does and how hard that family worked to succeed, that is when you just say, what a woman of substance. And I love her to death because of that.
Oh, dude, they're great folk. They're great folk. I love her. She is so fun. And Rod's a great guy. I used to watch, when I was in Santa Barbara, I'd watch Rodney. I mean, we knew he played football. I saw him play baseball. He would come up to UCSB and play baseball. He was that guy. And she's just awesome across the board. Kevin, we could go on, but you've had such an amazing career and you're still killing it. But what's unique to me is not only your longevity, but your ability, of course, to cross over from sports to entertainment. Let me ask you something. At any point in your life, did you decide, you know what, man, I think I want to kick it over there on the red carpet and show it the A-listers, or did entertainment just kind of find you?
No, Jim, you and I think that you kind of know this because it's like entertainment just found me. I was sitting at Sports Center, and I look, and I hate to say this, and people can bash me. I hate baseball. I can't. Baseball season is.
Dude, there's a lot of people that hate baseball. You don't need to apologize for that.
So I'm sitting there, and you're getting ready for Sports Center. You're next to the guys from Baseball Tonight who are yelling every time somebody hits the ball out of the infield. They're like, oh! Everybody would jump up and scream, and you're like, stop. And, you're just so happy if you can get, one day a week at Outback Steakhouse, or you can get some French toast late at night and in the cafeteria at ESPN. It was a desolate place. And I got this call that they wanted me while I was out for the NBA All-Star Game back in the day here in LA to audition for Entertainment Tonight. It's like, okay, it'll be fun. I'll go in there. I'll do it. We'll have some fun. I did the audition, didn't think nothing of it. And then a couple of weeks later, I get a call and they say, hey, we'd love for you to come down and meet us at Jean Georges, which is in the Trump Tower. So I go down, I meet with the executives, and we have this meeting. They're like, we want you to come to Entertainment Tonight. We would love for you to be the weekend host and a correspondent. And I was like, wow, that sounds like it's great. And but I'm on ESPN right now. And Linda Bell Blue, who ran Entertainment Tonight for so many years, the great EP, she said, how many people watched that little show on ESPN you do last
Oh,
night? And I said, hey, we had almost 1 million people watched our show last night. We killed it. And she said, yeah, 8 million people watched Entertainment Tonight last night. And I was
wow.
like, oh, okay. And then as I walked out the door to leave, I was going on an ESPN shoot in Las Vegas, and Linda saw me grab my bags and go to a taxi cab. And she looked at me. She said, baby, when you work for me, you'll never get in a taxi cab again.
And
Yo,
ESPN, man, you were never going to get in anything other than a
never,
taxi cab. And maybe if you were
never.
lucky, get reimbursed.
Bro, I love amenities, and that was a hell of a pitch right there. She doesn't know. I don't think she realizes that really the thing that sold me was her saying that, and I was like,
She
damn.
didn't know how cheap they were.
She had no idea. She had no idea that
Why,
they're
why
like,
do you why,
take
why do
a
you think
taxi
they
cab.
yeah, Kevin, we know you. I know you, dude. You're super talented. You can do anything. But man, how amazing that they picked you. Why do you think they picked you from ESPN back then? Now it makes perfect sense. But then
It was great. I don't know, but I think that when I went there, they were like, whoa, he can actually do this. And I didn't want to say to him, I was like, guys, I'm doing an hour a day, right off the cuff and highlights and everything. So I think I can do this. The lesson that I think I learned was that this is so different from sports because in sports, we go in the locker room, we fire away. It's like, yo, Shaq, you missed them free throws. You cost everybody the game. You cannot go up to Brad Pitt and say, Brad, your last movie tanked and this one ain't that good. What's going on, bro?
So what exactly? What did you do? What was your process? Once you learned that I can't approach them the way I approach them, how did you approach them?
You had to learn, they had to learn how to trust you and know that you're not just some random dude, that when you come with a hard question, you're coming with a hard question, but you will treat them fairly. And I think that relationships are so important, and people don't understand that. They think because they can get on the internet or be a thumb thug on social media that, you just go ahead and do your thing and say whatever. But have a relationship with people so that you can actually get the real information, because the real information is what's really important. The real information.
Well, and by the way, dude, that's your strongest thing, like relationship building. Everybody loves BUTTA. Like, you are really, really good at that. And I think a lot of that's innate. But look, let's not ever knock the hustle, dude. You still work really, really hard. I want to share something with you. So you know what Janet and I did for Valentine's Day? Some really romantic shit. Really romantic shit.
Man,
Wait till you hear this, dude. Wait till you hear this, all right? So at this point in our life, we went to see Jason Statham's new movie, Shelter. Dude, for real.
That was your Valentine's Day.
Okay, because we were late getting it. No, okay, the actual Valentine's Day was the night before because we couldn't set it up for Saturday, but we had our real dinner on Friday night. We have not given in, dude. We're still good. We're still great. But we had the romantic night on Friday night, but we did on Valentine's Day, we did go see Shelter. Dude, I love this dude. I love that Janet said yes to it because I always go see her movies.
Right?
My man's private. Have you ever got to sit down with him? Like, I need to know more about my dude.
Okay, so here's the things to know that, he is really like, when you see him, you're like, oh, he will just wear you out and kick your ass if you run into him or you bump into him in the street or something like that. But the nicest guy and very kind of mellow and low key. And I love that about him, And you have to remember, he did the thing. He married the supermodel, he's had that life. But being like an action star, all those dudes are kind of like, they're very quiet and a little bit standoffish because they're like, I have to keep up this persona that I will kick your ass. And I don't want to be in a bar somewhere and somebody challenges me. So I just want to be cool. And always had great interviews, great conversations with him. Seems like a really good dude.
Pretty thoughtful dude. Good, thoughtful interviews.
Yeah, but here's the other thing you have to remember. When somebody walks in that room to sit down and do an interview, do they come in to actually do an interview, or they come in to kind of bullshit and be irritated? And there are those people who do that, and there are others who come in and they say, hey, I'm in it. I want to have a conversation. I want to have a back and forth. And those are the people that do really well, and he's one of those people.
By the way, hello. Is it preach? I've done this for 40 years. It's so true, right? You know who wants to be there and who doesn't. Yeah. You know who's there because somebody made them be there or told them to be there. And those people who want to be there. So, Kevin, the other day I was really pumped to see this. I saw a trailer drop for one of our all-time favorites, a Bob Huggins doc.
Yes.
One of our all-time favorites. Now, are you a part of the doc? And for those who do not know, take us back. How far back do you and Huggy go?
So when my first on-air job was in Cincinnati at WXIX Channel 19 in Cincinnati, and when I got there, and this is just look, and it goes back
What
to
year, Kevin? I don't want to date us, but what year? Just to give him an idea.
oh my God, 1995, 96. It's Nick Van Ack. They had just gone to the Final Four.
Okay.
And they had lost. Nick Van Exel and those guys lost in the Final Four. So that summer, I get to Cincinnati. And when I get there, they're like, hey, we would love to hire you, but we also have a slot to do the color for the games. And I was like, well, my dad's a basketball coach. I've worked for him, so I understand basketball. And so they're like, okay, well, what we're going to do is we're going to sit you down with one of the guys who calls the games, and you're going to, give us some of your analysis. So I find out from the assistant coach what game they're going to show. Because if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, right? Come on, Jim. So I find out, and I'm sitting down, and I'm calling stuff before it happens. If they were smart, they'd shift to a zone. I mean, right now, what I do is I press, and they're like, holy, this dude is a savant.
He's Brown, dude.
He might be Dickie V before Dickie V. So I get the gig, and I go to practice because I love going to practice every day. And that's when I met Coach Huggins. And what you learn about Huggy is that he's the most lovable person in the world. And when you're on his team, you're on his team. Also, he will cuss you out in a heartbeat. He don't give a damn who it is. He will cuss you out. And then he'll hug you afterwards. Players, media, he don't care.
No, the best. I wonder, when was the last time you spoke with him? How's he doing?
He's doing good. I mean, it was unfortunate the way it ended for him in West Virginia. And I mean, he's okay right now. He wants to get back into coaching.
I know he does. I know it.
And it's an interesting thing because I do think that he relates to certain players, and I think that he is really good at it. I will tell you this. This is here. If you want to get Bob Huggins in a nutshell, I'll tell you this. I'm calling the game, and I think they were playing St. Louis, and Danny Fortson fouled out. And during the game, I pointed out how Danny just kept grabbing people, I was like, you just can't grab people like that. You have to box out, you have to hustle, you have to work. So they lose the game. I get on the bus. Hug gets on the bus, and he's like, this is your fucking fault. He fouled out because of you.
Oh, wow.
You told the whole damn conference what Danny does, and now this is on you. Sit with that.
You sit with that.
I'm like, oh my God. I was like, are they going to let me get on? Am I going to be able to stay on the bus? And, we rode the bus to this janky old plane, and when we got to the plane, Hugs just came over. He put his arm around, hugged me, and he's like, I love you, man. I love you. You know that. But stop telling all Danny's secrets. But that's who he is. He was such an intense person, an intense competitor, intense with the players. D'Antonio Wingfield, you remember that name?
Sure, you bet.
The Don. Okay, so D'Antonio came there, and D'Antonio got mad at me for something I said on the broadcast, and he was like, I'm not talking no more. And I was like, okay, well, we won't talk no more. And I went to Hugs, and I was like, Don's not talking no more. And he's like, don't talk to Don. Who cares? You got all these other players. Screw Don. So I was like, all right. So Don would have a great game, and he'd look over, after post game, are we going to interview him? I'd turn my back, and I'd be like, oh, but there goes, oh yeah, Keith Legree, come on over here. Yeah.
Great.
Jackson Jolson, come over here. Anybody. So finally, he broke, and he came over to me after a game when they beat Dayton. He came over to me like, I want to talk, man. I want to talk. And Hugs is like, you got to play him, man. You can't deal with that. You have to go ahead and play him. If he don't want to talk, then kick his ass to the curb. And that's who Hugs is, and that's why I love him.
Oh, man, it's so great. What a great story. See, that's the Kevin Frazier storytelling that I know. You should have just said to him, man, we don't talk no more. No, you made that very clear. That was your decision, not mine. We don't talk no more. We don't talk no more.
We don't need to talk.
So speaking of Janet, she's all about the Golden Globes. All about the Golden Globes. So there she was, posted up. I thought that I would check it out for a minute out of the love for my wife. Because I can, bro, you know me. It's not personal to you. I can give or take the Globes. But she's all about it. And bam, there you are, dude. Not only there, but as an in-show host with Variety editor Mark Malkin doing what felt like play-by-play. That was different. What was that like? How did that feel?
So this was the second time I got to do it, and it is so much fun because what you get to do is you get to talk to people on the carpet, and then you take that into the show. And so when they win, you have all this information. I can't remember who it was last year that said, if I win, I'm going to get the biggest margarita and go out and party tonight. So when she won, I was like, and she told me on the carpet she's going to have a big margarita tonight. So if you got some tequila and some mix, you might want to hit her up. And so those were kind of like, those are the moments that you live for because you get this information from people on the carpet, you know? And so it makes it fun. And it is. It's going back to sports and play by play. And it's a blast. And you interview these people so much. You have so much information in your head. So it's great to be able to get it out.
So, Kevin, I've been to the Globes once, only once, and man, it lived up to the hype. It's wild. It's wild. Is what you see on the air pretty much what it is, or are there things that go on inside those four walls that nobody ever sees on the air? Like, what is it like, really?
Let's take it up a notch. Okay, so the Globes are back now, but back in their heyday, it was really wild because you had 6 big parties inside that hotel. So as soon as it was over and everybody starts drinking on the carpet. I mean, you have a champagne sponsor, who sponsors the red carpet. So everybody comes and they hit the carpet like, look, y'all, I'm going to make some deals. I'm going to talk to everybody. We're going to walk around. We're going to have a good time. So it is a party. And then afterwards, everybody just kind of mixes and mingles and goes into these parties. And one of my favorite times is I was walking afterwards towards one of the parties, and I look and I see sneaking up the stairs into a door, Kobe Bryant.
Huh.
And I'm like, bruh, what are you doing here? Of all the people, and we'll tell the story about us at dinner one night with Kobe, but I mean, of all the people, Kobe's the last person I expected to see going to a party at the Golden Globes.
Right.
But in he comes, and he's going to the party because he was starting to make those connections that led to him being a part of the entertainment industry and ultimately winning a Golden Globe. And it was like everything, just like he did in basketball, he planned everything out to the T. And so it was so interesting that night seeing him coming to the Golden Globes because he was just coming to a few parties. He wanted to make a lap before he would go for his midnight workout, but he wanted to make a lap and talk to a few folks and, really start to work the industry. And so those are the kinds of things you see at the Golden Globes. People meet, people make deals, people, get jobs. It's wild. It is literally the biggest party of the year.
Dude, exactly. And he was so strategic and so tactical and so meticulous about everything and not just ball. You mentioned the dinner. What do you remember about our dinner with Kobe?
Okay, so we were eating and we were getting near dessert. I think we were getting near dessert. It was like 9:30. We're having a good old time. I'm knocking down margaritas. You're drinking whatever you were drinking. We're having fun.
Probably
and Kobe,
Sapphire. Probably Sapphire.
I think so. I think so. And yeah, because we were having discussions about all kinds of things. And in walked Kobe. Or no, Kobe was walking out. Kobe was walking. He had been in a back room eating. And so we're like, yo, sit down. Sit down with us. Have some dessert. Hang out for a minute. And if you remember, he said to us, he was like, I love y'all, but I got to go work out. And we're like, bruh, you can sleep later. And he was like, no, I'm working out at 10 o'clock.
And by the way, bro, it was the off season too.
Yes, it was 10 o'clock at night that he was going to his workout after eating dinner. And it was like, oh, okay, all right, we'll shut up. Because we were like, sit down, bruh, have some dessert, relax for a second. It's your free time. He was like, there's no free time.
No, exactly.
So it was wild.
No,
it was wild.
And I bought it too. And people were like kind of skeptical, like, man, he just said that. He didn't want to hang. I'm like, no, that dude was getting it in. He was getting it in. I guarantee he was getting it in.
His work ethic was crazy. It was crazy. And like people didn't understand that. And there's a great story he'll tell you all the time that one of the kids who was an All-American at Fairfax High School was like, Kobe, I want to come work out with you. And Kobe's like, see you at 4. And the dude showed up at 4 p.m. And you know what time Kobe was there? He was there at 4 a.m. That's
He's the best, man. He's the best. Right? Kevin, dude, I love you. I appreciate you so much. Before you go, how about the Super Bowl? You mentioned you were, and I saw you on the road a couple of times. We couldn't hook up. We just kept kind of passing each other, a couple ships in the night. What about the Super Bowl halftime show with Bad Bunny? Generated a ton of heat, ton of buzz. What did you make of the show and how polarizing it was, and why do you think it was?
Well, I think it was polarizing because people tried to make it polarizing instead of understanding that Bad Bunny is the most listened to artist in the world. Let's stop for a second and let's digest that again. He's the most listened to artist in the world. And because of that, people around the world wanted to see that halftime show. Now, what does the NFL want to do? We know that they started with the NFL Europe. They've had the NFL in South America. They want to expand. They want to have a team in London eventually. They're going to play games in Australia. And so if you are appealing to the world, who better than the most streamed artist on the planet? And so it was interesting because people were upset and they were like, oh, he's speaking in Spanish. It should be American. It should be. I was like, but he is American. He's from Puerto Rico. That's an American territory. I mean, we annexed it. We can't run away from that. But also, I think that if you watch the show, you saw that what he did was he was so inclusive with everyone. And he included all the Americas in the end. But he also, when you saw Lady Gaga there, and we were in the tunnel. So I actually watched the performance on TV while I was in the tunnel because I was standing with the grass people as they were going out.
Wow.
And very cool because, they were all peeking their faces out and they were all waving and saying hello. And then as soon as it was over, he came down the tunnel and he was almost frenetic from the energy. And you could see it in his face. And he was just like looking around because he was ready just to let out and just burst with joy. The people coming off the field, it was like this big party and exhale. It was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. And it's like one of the lucky parts of being down in that tunnel. And, I asked him, how was it out there? And he said, it was great. And then, he met up with Roger Goodell, who gave him a big hug. Don't trip out when you start seeing international football teams. The NFL is an international corporation. Embrace the world, y'all. You got to get ready. You got to get ready.
Oh, it's coming, dude. It's here. It's already here. It's here, and it's only getting bigger.
And do you know why they have to do it, Jim? Because soccer's here. And if you look at the MLS and how the Premier League is shown here and all those things, it's a fight for those rights and those dollars. And, hey, Saturday, Messi plays LAFC in the Coliseum. There are going to be 100,000 people there. It's coming. Soccer's coming. And the NFL wants to keep its place. The NBA has NBA Africa. They're going to have teams in Europe. It's coming. Everybody is going global. Embrace the world, people. Embrace the world.
You know me, I love soccer. Some of my favorite people are in soccer. You know this. This is a given.
Come on, Jim. Come on. Let's go to the game Saturday, man.
Saturday? It might be doable, dude. Saturday might be the day. Are you going?
Yes. Listen, the best sports experience in this city, in Los Angeles, is LAFC.
I know. You've always said that, dude. You've always said that. And I know you believe that. Kevin,
I'm going to make you
really quickly because it's Oscar season, all right? So Sinners breaks the all-time Academy Award record with 16 nominations. Paul Thomas Anderson's One Battle After Another landed 13 nominations. Are we talking about a match race between these two, or could some horse come from running from the back and maybe rip the best picture? How do you handicap this race?
Well, I think that there's a couple of things that you have to keep in mind. That I think there could be a push by Hamnet to get look. Hamnet could make a push, but I do think that Sinners will have a great day. There is some kind of magic that when you get Michael B. Jordan on that screen, what he did playing two characters, and when he and Ryan Coogler are together, it is incredible. I think Tiana Taylor will win for One Battle After Another, and but I do think that this could be Michael B. Jordan's year. It will be really, but there is a magic with he and Ryan Coogler. But I am excited this year for the Oscars because I think the first time you go in, and there are only two things that are a sure thing: Best Actress and Best Supporting Actress, in my opinion. And so I think that it's a toss-up in so many of the categories, and that's what will make the Oscars so damn good this year. Also, I think there are movies that we wanted to go see. We went to see Sinners we went to the theaters to see movies, and Sinners saved cinema. This summer, that was the thing. People went out to see Sinners. It opened so big, and I think you have to reward it for opening so big and saving.
Really interesting. One last thought. So, Kevin, what about, like, Janet and I are always looking for, you're my go-to for content. And generally, I'm a one-show person because I'm still inundated with this. Oh, wow. So I only watch one show at a time. one show at a time because I'm doing this. Janet can juggle other shows. But for instance, Landman. We love Landman. So we will watch the one show. Great show, right? But we're always looking for the next show. What are you watching right now? I need a recommendation or two because I just watch one show at a time and I don't binge it. I like to watch it, I mean, once a night, once a week, whatever it is. But I need recommendations. I have no good ideas.
Well, I love funny, silly things. I live with a woman who loves espionage, and my wife is so addicted to Tehran, The Diplomat. I mean, all shows like that. And so that's what you don't win that battle. You know how you go in the living room and you're like, I really wanted to watch. And she's like, oh, hell no. And also we have an inverse balance in my house because I watch reality TV and I love reality TV.
And she's got no time for it, does she? She's got no time for it.
No, she really thinks there's something wrong with me. So when I go in and I'm like, you know what, let me catch up on 90 Day Fiance. Have you seen, Love is Blind?
It's totally reversed. That's the invert of us. Janet will watch stuff that she knows I'm not watching with her, and you're watching stuff that Yaz won't watch with you.
No shot. But I love it so much, and I love reality, and it's so tragically sad. My wife comes in and she's like, "What is wrong with you? Why are you watching these people on TV?" And I was like, I love it. And I also got, I had a stint hosting Married at First Sight, doing their reunion shows. So I loved it so much. And so it's just, Jim, I know that what I'm watching these days would make your stomach turn. But I mean, Love is Blind. Come on. Incredible.
Man, you need an outlet. You need a release. You need to rest your brain. Hey, man, there's a lot of shit in the world, right? Like, I used to be one of those people, Kevin, last thought. We were addicted to true crime. Maybe because of our love of Allison, but who doesn't like true crime? But you know what? All of a sudden you wake up one day and you're like, I don't need to see anybody else murdered. It's bringing me down. My headspace is bad. It's putting me in a bad frame of mind. Like, I don't need to watch this. Why was I so addicted to this? And now I'm just steering clear of it. Because it's not a good input, dude. It's not a good input.
You start walking around the house, checking the windows, checking the doors. When people are walking down the street at 10 o'clock at night, I'm looking out the window like, who the hell is that? I am like Inspector Gadget all of a sudden because I've watched too much true crime, murder, craziness, And so I try to let it go and just jump into the reality space. And, look, for a long time, I was addicted to Naked and Afraid, and it kind of went, it kind of jumped the shark because they started going crazy. But when it first came out, I couldn't get enough of it. I was like, this is the greatest show on earth. So those are the kinds of things that just take my mind off of all the crazy things. And I also work on a show just like you do. We work on something that is a distraction. Entertainment, sports, they're tribal. They help us forget the troubles of the day. And that's what it's all about. It's like, hey, here's a few minutes, here's an hour, listen to Jim, have some fun, laugh about the games, listen and talk about the games and debate about them, and forget about all the craziness that's happening on this planet.
I think you and I, Kevin, we've always understood that. We've always understood the job. And I think that's why we still have the jobs. And, well, dude, you're really talented. Dude, I love you so much, man. I want you to know that. I love you. I love that you make time for this once or twice a year. I love that we came together. And even like, friendship is, even if I'm here and you're there and we're both on our grind, we can still pick up wherever we are. And it's like we never left. So, man, much love and respect. Couldn't be more proud of you. And I couldn't value the friendship more than I do, brother. I do love you.
You know how much I love you. And, I still get excited when I'm turning the TV or I walk in my office and I flick you on and I'm listening to you talk. And it's just this moment where you're like, damn, look at my boy. He's killing it. He is doing his thing. And I mean, you've been a top dog for a long time. It ain't easy. And also, can I just say this? I still have not really ever thanked you for your birthday party. Your 50th? Oh, shit. With English B? It was so crazy. I hate to tell. Okay, I got to tell this. Can I tell the story?
Dude. Just know that we don't do stuff like that anymore. That was the ultimate party. Janet, I didn't want it, and Janet's like, oh no, we're doing it. I'm like, I don't want to do it, and I really don't want to know how much that cost. And she's like, we're doing it.
Yo, so if you're a kid of the late 80s, the 90s, English Beat, and Rankin Roger and all those guys. And so I walk in to Jim's backyard, and it's cool. It's a great party. I mean, Janet has set everything out. It's beautiful. Ice sculptures, all kinds of stuff. Everybody's there. They're hugging. And there's a DJ. And so I think, oh, this is going to be a great party. And then all of a sudden, they're like, hey, everybody, English beat. And I was like, what do you mean English beat? I was like, nah, 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 nah. Like they're getting ready to, what, English beat? And it was like, oh my God. And so it was unbelievable. It was such a great night and such a fun night jumping around in your backyard. And it was like one of the best nights ever.
It was a dream, dude. I'd be okay. You're different. You're different. You live that life. I've never been to a better party than the party. And Janet planned that for months and months and months. And aside from the fact that everybody I loved was at that was the most important thing. And the boys were there, and all my friends and family. But my favorite part, aside from all that stuff, was picking the band. Like that was such an incredible exercise. And I'm like, all right, if we're really doing this thing, so all these bands that I loved growing up, let's go out to them and see who is available and how much they want and whether or not this is doable, right? So
yeah, I'm like,
it was amazing.
Dave Wakely. I was like, is that Dave Wakely?
Right? He was there, dude. He was there. They played their set, and they played their set.
They played your set. So, I mean, what a great birthday party. I've never forgotten it. And also, I just want to say, what a great wife you have. And shout out to Janet, too. She is an amazing woman. And, you know, this is what love is about. And this is for all you young men out there. Find a woman who wants to be with you when you're on your grind and on your way up and is like, I'm here with you in the trenches. And that's who she is, man. People don't know and they don't understand. She was there in the trenches back in the day, and that's why I love her so much.
Dude, I love you for saying that. You too. We both outkicked the coverage. But you know, I've always said that about Janet. Like when I met her, she made a lot more money than me. She was way more successful than me. And I always knew that if the thing went south and it went sideways, because we had nothing when we were together, that if we lost everything, she'd still be there. And you're right.
Yeah.
Dude, literally, I could tell you the story about how we had to reinvent the show. Now I own the show. So literally, dude, I now pay the employees. I pay insurance. I pay the rent. Janet's running the thing now. Like she's old enough that she should be laying out and she's just grinding out still. And I hate that she's working that hard on it, but it's so great that we have it together and we're doing it together.
No. That's the beauty, because she was there in the beginning. And by the way, all you kids out there, understand this man lived in a raggedy ass apartment while he was grinding this out. There was no like, hey.
You know, because you lived in the same raggedy ass complex, dude.
He had a raggedy ass, and I'm like, yo, he is really grinding it out. And that's the thing. Like, I think people think you just popped up and had all the shit. No.
I wish, dude. Wouldn't that have been great? Hey, Kevin, wouldn't that have been great? Man, I wish that was the way it was. I wish I was like that. No.
Right?
Nah, dude. Dude. That's why, man. That's why.
Wasn't that a sponsorship deal for that apartment or something? Or like,
yes. It was trade. It was trade.
It was a trade-off for his apartment.
It was a barter. It was a barter system.
Yes.
Barter, man, barter. But that's how you came up too, Kevin. That's how you came up too, dude. That's how you came up too. Still grinding. Look like a million. Sound like a million, dude. You're the absolute best.
Great talking to you, brother.
Yeah, thank you, man. I love you, man. Thank you so much.